on time.
On time. I can't believe we're on time. It's crazy. If anything, we were slightly early, but it just turned 6:15, so perfect.
Yeah.
All right, let me just pull up the script here.
Yeah, you need to have those.
No, I haven't. It's here. I just moving it to the front, sir, so I can see it, because I'll fuck it up if I don't look at it when I say it. Are we ready?
Yep.
It's the Culture Smash Cast, episode 625 for July the 5th, 2023. I'm Stephen Lackey, editor of the Culture Smash Cast. Nico?
Nicholas Qualls, contributor to Culture Smash Cast.
Tina?
Tina Qualls, contributor to Culture Smash Cast.
Evie?
Evie, yeah.
Zach Martin. Knuckle cracker.
Typical. All right.
So, finally saw movies.
We saw movies.
Finally.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've done a double feature together.
Dude, I did a triple.
I know. I love doing a triple. It's great. So we'll get into that in a minute, though. So, what did you guys do for your holiday? Anything interesting?
A lot of family stuff, family cookouts.
Went to saw Indiana Jones.
Which we'll talk about in detail in a bit. Mostly just also stayed home with the pup and the baby as the world exploded around us with fireworks.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was about to say, did anyone purchase or shoot off any fireworks?
Nope.
Yeah, no. I don't got the money for that.
Even if I got the money for it, I'd rather buy movies.
Yeah. I mean, for real.
Yep.
I mean, I saw a sale today.
Yeah, what sale did you see today?
Oh, I saw Amazon had Infinity Pool on 4K Steelbook for $23. And yeah, I pre-ordered that. I checked back on it 20 minutes later and the price went back up.
So the problem right now is Vinegar Syndrome is having a sale. They're doing new movies every day, different sets that you can buy and add. So I'm watching every day at 11 o'clock. The Camp Arrow sale started today. So they've got a crap ton of stuff on sale. And the Criterion sale is going full speed ahead at Barnes & Noble. And that was a really... Like, if you follow me on TikTok, I did a video here on YouTube also of my Criterion experience. And I went to the store, and they had it was a 4-foot shelf that was 6 or 7 shelves high that was stocked with a lot of Criterions, but nothing new. It was all like catalog stuff.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I found a lot. I bought a crap ton, actually. But I wanted new stuff and didn't have it. I wanted Thelma and Louise, maybe wanted Time Bandits, the 4Ks, but nope.
They had it in Cool Springs, but their selection was, I'm not joking, like half the size of this table, which our listeners can't see, but imagine a 3-foot by 2-foot section. And that was it. And I happened to be out there at the time, but I was like, oh boy, it's the 50% off. It's the second day. Let's go. And there's nothing. Of course, there's you can buy it online, but it's like, what is the point in having this online?
I refuse to buy it online. This is part of the reason that I look forward to that binge shopping experience.
Yeah.
But I got a few. I bought a few titles.
I thought about getting Pink Flamingos.
So I bought Cure.
I want to see that. I haven't
really
seen
good movie.
that.
I bought Ghost World.
Eh.
I bought Breaking the Waves. This is a really good movie.
Yeah, but it's Lars von Trier.
Doesn't matter. It's still a good movie.
All right.
Yeah. And it's got Stellan Skarsgård in it, who people seem to know now because of some franchise. Bottle Rocket.
One of these days I'll get to that.
What's that?
One of these days I'll get to
Yeah,
that.
it's good. Michael Haneke trilogy.
You haven't even seen those.
I haven't. This is a cold buy. I don't care. I love this director. Marriage Story, which was funny because Zach had a bitch at me because when I first saw this, I thought that it was okay, but not. I wasn't in love with it. But as I've sort of gestated on it a little bit over the last however long, these two performances are just so good. And even the time when it came out and I saw it, I told you the last scene of this movie is devastating.
Yeah.
It's really effective. And then I bought Paris, Texas. So I did pick up some stuff from the Criterion sale. That was my big thing. We just cooked out burgers on the 4th. That's it. We didn't do anything. And listened to the fireworks battle that was happening in the neighborhood until 3 o'clock this morning. Yeah, it was fucking terrible. It was terrible. But that's the 4th of July for you. Yep.
Yeah.
I got a bone to pick with you.
Okay, let me get into the box office.
Okay, fine.
Let me get into the box office.
I'm gonna pick that bone.
Oh, well, it was technically something you did this weekend, so you should probably just go ahead and get it over with.
Yeah, it was something I did this weekend. So there was a film that came out way earlier in the early month of Fuck You, It's January.
Yeah.
And someone in this room went and saw it and was like, holy shit, it's the biggest piece of shit. I was laughing so hard. You have to see this.
Yeah.
It's garbage.
Yeah.
Please watch.
I sold this properly, and I did not say please watch. To be fair, I said we need to watch it in a group with cocktails.
I had cocktails.
Yeah.
I had a lot of booze.
I know.
Because that movie was that bad.
Yeah.
This is Blair Witch fucking Part 2. This is a garbage ass fucking movie. And guess what? The movie is Children of the Corn. The remake.
I gave it a half star.
It's fucking awful, dude.
It's so bad.
It's on Shudder, and I swear to God, the first hour should have been like 20 minutes. It's the first act of the film, and it's the first hour.
Yeah.
The movie is 91 minutes. So you can see how this is kind of a problem, because everything is bad.
My favorite thing is how it always impacts me when there's a scene and then a character's motivations change in the scene.
Yeah.
And I was watching it in the theater, and when that happens in this movie, I just lost my shit. I just busted out laughing.
I mean, this even has like the parody level, like Hot Fuzz parodying, like when someone laughs and they slow it down, they go ha ha ha. Like that happens in this movie unironically. Some adults are laughing at kids, and it slows the footage down. They're like ha ha ha. Are you kidding me?
See, I loved it. It's terrible.
Oh,
but
it's so painful.
It's so bad, but I had so much fun with it. I just laughed my ass off.
Oh. And then the ending is just a massive
It's abysmal.
fuck you.
Yeah, it's really terrible.
So no, I had so much soju and bourbon, and it didn't help. I just got mad.
I don't know. I just had fun with it. I laughed my ass off during that movie. And I only had one cocktail. One of those expensive cocktails from Regal.
I hated everyone in that movie.
Yeah,
I hated them all.
There's nothing to like in the movie.
No.
I told you. I warned you. I said if Letterboxd would let me give it 0 stars and still call it a review, I would have. But it won't let you.
I don't blame the kid for her acting. I blame the director, because everyone's acting is in the floor. At that point, you have to blame the direction.
Yeah.
But I also blame the writers, because I don't think Daniel D. fucking Lewis could be saying this dialogue, and I'd be saying this is awful.
It's real bad.
So anyway, fuck you for wasting my time.
I got a nice little laugh. It was a good time. Good times.
God
Good times.
damn.
My only disappointment is that we didn't do it here, and I didn't get more of you in the room watching it with me.
I was shouting at the TV. I was just yelling at it.
I'm gonna buy that movie. Watch.
Why?
Because it's something you need
It's
to
going
watch
to be
with
our
people.
12 hours of terror.
At the 4 o'clock in the morning hour.
No, it's not. He's going to give it time. He's going to let it go a year or two for you to forget about it, and then
That's the move.
Yeah,
That's the move.
The real terror begins.
Like maybe next year or the year after, all of a sudden, we're all having a good time in 12 hours of terror, and then at 3 o'clock in the morning, right after Linnea Quigley has us work out,
Children of the
boom,
Corn.
Children of the Corn. Kind of like when they did Exorcist on us at Bill Court.
That was bullshit. That was 6 in the morning. Hey,
heretic.
y'all have fun with Leviathan? Yeah. Well, fuck you. Here's Exorcist 2 at 6 a.m. Did anyone like the film? Just pure
Dead
silence. Pure, like the most silent I have ever heard that theater.
Yep. All right, so if you
Continue.
are just joining us, You should join us every week. There's a lot of options you can join us on. The big ones are on Twitch and YouTube, but we're also on Facebook every week, 7:15, or actually 6:15 now, which is great. You can join the conversation live. We'll answer your questions. You can be a part of the anger that is being spewed right now if you'd like to. That'd be great. Also,
I shouldn't be on this podcast. It's just causing my blood pressure to spike.
perfect. Special thanks to Skinny Mixes for supporting the Culture Smash cast. Skinny Mixes are coffee and dessert syrups that are 0 sugar, 0 calories, and 0 to 2 carbs. Head on over to skinnymixes.com and try some of their delicious syrups, such as the white chocolate, salted dark chocolate, and salted caramel, and the variety of cocktail mixes they offer, including the margarita, which is my favorite, and the different fruit flavors and fruit water infusions. Use promo code CultureSmash for 15% discount on your order. Let's talk about the box office from this past week.
Oh boy.
Number 10 was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It made $2 million. It's made $355 million so far. It's a travesty that you haven't seen it because it's really good.
Oh boy, it's on Disney Plus like what, next week?
It's very good. Number 9, it's good. It deserves a theater watch. Number 9 is Asteroid City. It made $4.2 million. It's made $18.6 so far.
We want to talk about this real fast?
Yeah, we could talk about it for a minute. If you don't follow me on Letterboxd, you should, because I actually spent some time writing a review on Asteroid City.
You can follow my letterbox too, where you get to see my star rating.
Because you don't write shit.
No, I don't.
You suck. I always like to come with receipts. I liked Asteroid City overall. I enjoyed the cast. Bryan Cranston is a standout. Mm-hmm. The role that he plays, and we're not going to talk spoilers because not all of us have seen it, but the role that he plays in this movie, he was made for.
He has the best joke in the film.
He does. Scarlett Johansson is great.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody is really good.
Every single actor is a name.
Yeah, it's like the random person in the background is a name.
Willem Dafoe shows up for like what, a minute?
Not if even that. Yeah. For me, the only person that didn't really get that style of dialogue, and I was told that Zach I felt this was Tom Hanks. He's good.
He's fine. It's just
it's not his style.
Yeah.
You know, he's not used to that sort of monotone, like syncopated delivery that you have to do in a Wes Anderson movie now. But he's good. He's good. It's just he's not as good at it as a lot of the other members of the Anderson troupe that are in every freaking movie he does now. For me, the movie falls apart in the
especially at the end
finale. It kind of falls apart. Like it doesn't really know where to end or how to end.
I did not like the overall structure of what the film was. Especially at the end, because it just falls the fuck apart. And unfortunately, I found this. I hate to say it's right in line with Wes Anderson's other recent films, like Isle of Dogs and.
I actually think this is better than the French Dispatch.
No, I think it's better.
Yeah.
But the problem I have with both of these is I walked out, and by the end of the day, I forgot I had seen it.
I didn't really forget that I had seen it, but I kind of started to get like a little gray on the point of the story. Because the problem, like looking at Bottle Rocket, something that's story first, aesthetic second.
Well, Royal Tenenbaum still lives
Royal
in my head.
Tenenbaum, story first, aesthetic second.
Yeah.
This is aesthetic first.
Yes.
And then the story is just there to serve the look.
I love the aesthetic.
It's beautiful.
I love it.
Yeah.
But you need a good story.
Yeah. Man, there's some good performances in the movie though, and the kids are amazing. I think they steal a lot of scenes.
They're great.
The kid actors are really good.
Jeff Goldblum's in this.
Yeah.
You know, for
sort of
15 seconds. Jeff Goldblum literally had 20 minutes to film, and they were like, "We can work with that.
Yeah, here you go.
Just sit down in this chair."
I still, if you like Wes Anderson's aesthetic, I still recommend seeing it in theater. I think it's a worthwhile
it looks
watch.
great on the big screen.
Yeah. I just wish the story was a little better. Like, even going back to like Life Aquatic, it's just I think he gets an aesthetic idea, and then he just throws the story together to serve it.
And if you happen to be under like 18 and you're looking for like nudes,
yeah, there's a little.
This movie's got it.
Yeah,
for about a second.
Yeah, but we'll get to another movie about that in a second.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, it it's fine. I guess is the thing. It's not terrible, but it's not also.
It's fine. It's
Yeah.
it's 7 out of 10. It's fine.
Yeah. All right. So number 8 is The Flash. It made 5.2. It's made 99.4 million so far. We talked a lot about that one. Number 7 is The Little Mermaid. It's made another 5.3. It's made 281 million. Number 6, new this week, Rudy Gilman, Teenage Kraken, made 5.5 million.
Holy shit!
What?
Rudy Giuliani, Teenage Kraken.
Oh, okay, that's funny. All right, number 5.
Bruh,
What?
can we just talk about this for a second?
What? What about it?
That is a DreamWorks film, and it made $5 million in its opening weekend.
Well, I mean, it doesn't look that good.
Well, the trailers show the whole goddamn movie.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm staying away from it, because I'm like, I know this movie. You showed it to me.
Yeah, and it says a lot if you're casting like TikTok influencers with roles in the movie.
Wait, is that true?
Well, the
Yes,
other
it's
thing,
true.
too,
Fuck
is-
off.
Not
Straw
just
Hat
all that.
Goofy is in the movie.
There's a Pixar movie also in this. Like they came out like last week, right?
Yeah.
Elemental is
Yeah.
still up there. It's the number 2 movie when we get to it. It's like
Well, and I have a thought on this too. We're going to get into it in our overall discussion, so I'll just save it for there. But yeah, it didn't do well. It going up against a Pixar movie. You're probably right. Had a lot of impact on it. Number 5 is Transformers: Rise of the Beast. It made 7.3 million. It's made 136 so far. Number 4 is No Hard Feelings. It made 7.8 million. It's made 29.6 million. I know I'm the only one who's
Hey,
seen
you
this
saw
movie.
this.
I saw it. And I gotta say, I had a good time with it. I like this movie a lot. I love Jennifer Lawrence comic timing in it. She's really funny. The kid that's in it with her, I don't know him from anything, but they have good chemistry together. I thought it was really fun. And, you know, a lot of people are saying that it didn't go hard enough on the, like, raunchy comedy. I feel like it's one of those movies, like, I have one right here, actually. Anyway, it's like there is one back there somewhere. I was just thinking about it. That's like sold as raunchy comedy, and it is, but it's really not that bad. You know, like you get an expectation. The marketing sold it to you as super crazy, and you go, and it's you know, there's a bunch of F-bombs in it and a little bit of nudity. And
Yeah, it's like if you have a red band trailer, people just expect softcore porn or softcore like dick jokes and all that stuff now. And it's like that's the first trailer that we saw for No Hard Feelings was a red band trailer.
yeah. Now I think this falls right in line with like that sort of 80s softer kind of comedy. It's better than, to me, something like American Pie, which I think is way overhyped as a movie. But if you want, you know, raunchy jokes and nudity, it's in there. There's substantial nudity in this movie, at least in one really long scene. And the one thing I appreciate is the nudity that's in here doesn't come in the way you expect. And that's fun. That's fun. So I will buy this movie when it comes out on physical. I liked it. It's a really fun movie. Yeah. I recommend.
Would you think I'd find it funny?
I don't know. You've got such a shitty idea of comedy. I don't know.
I do.
Nico and Tina would find it funny. You,
there you go.
Look,
I don't know.
I can't refute that because I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah,
But I also know you have a soft spot in your heart for Jennifer Lawrence, so that will probably help.
I do.
You used to.
Hey, she's fine.
You used to think she was real cute and all this.
Yeah, she was.
But she's not that much
Hey,
different.
she's fine. How about this?
The thrill is gone.
No. I mean, you're like, oh, you saw her nudes, therefore the thrill is gone. It's like,
No.
bruh, I liked Red Sparrow. Are you
I was
kidding
gonna say,
me?
you
She's
used
nude
to
as
like
shit
her.
in that movie.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. I
Owns
love it.
those scenes too.
Also a great man. I love Mother. I'm glad that people are finally coming around to that movie.
Oh, finally, yeah.
Yeah, because
It's-
everybody
shit's
hated
good.
that movie, and it's fucking great. I love Mother,
No,
and she
like,
is
when we
good in it.
watched I told Nico, I was like, this was a great movie. I don't want to ever watch it again.
Yeah.
'cause it
Ooh.
destroyed-
It's coming around to time for me to revisit it, to be
Yeah.
honest.
It is one of those movies. Like I remember watching it, my jaw was like dropped for like the last half of the movie, just captivated by what was going on.
The only thing that I can see is some people just really don't fucking like allegory. They just don't like it. And if you don't, then yeah, you probably hate it.
Well, if
Yeah,
you
no, Mother's not for
if you do a shitty allegory, or like it's not clear on what you're doing,
Yeah.
okay. But if you fucking knock it out of the park, you get Mother.
But yeah, like it's funny. I'm starting to see it like on movie pages and stuff like that. People are talking about that it was actually good. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. Finally, years later. And I think this is something that's going to happen to Jennifer Lawrence because she's an experimenter as far as an actor. Because people are going to come around to Red Sparrow too. Mark my words.
Well, yeah.
A few more years from now, people will look back and think, oh, this is actually a good movie.
I
Just
enjoyed it.
abrasive to watch because
yeah.
there's so much aggressive
It's
nudity
like
in it and
Some of the
sexual assault.
yeah,
type
some of those
things.
reviews were like, "This is way too more hardcore than I thought it would be." Well, I'm like, "Well, then that's a skill issue on you, pal. That's
Yeah,
not the film's
It's a
fault."
great movie.
Well, it could be the marketing fault too, but still,
that's
I-
not the
It could
film's
be.
fault.
It could be. It could be. It probably should have been marketed more aggressively, like as a more aggressive movie than it maybe was. Because if you think about what Jennifer Lawrence did before, well, if you really think about it, I mean, she tries things, and a lot of times it doesn't work.
I think they were going for more Atomic Blonde than
Yeah.
Using your sexuality and intelligence to gain intelligence for
Yeah.
like a spy movie. Wow, no fucking way.
That's it. I'm doing a double feature. I'm going to watch Red Sparrow and Mother.
That's a hell of a double.
Hell of a double. All right, so moving on. Number 3 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It made $12 million. It's made $340 so far. Still going strong. Number 2 is Elemental. It made $12 million. These two are like right in line with each other. And it made 89.6, so not necessarily going strong there. And number 1, over the weekend, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. It made $60.3 million in its opening weekend.
That seems really low.
It does, and
just to
I've got-
clarify, that's the weekend itself. That's not like the full holiday into Tuesday.
yeah, that doesn't include the 4th of July, anything like that. It's just straight up the weekend. Opening this weekend is Joyride. That movie is at 91% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
I mean, if you want the numbers for what grossed what on July 4th, Indiana Jones was not number 1. There was a film called Sound of Freedom.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
And
whatever the fuck that is.
It grossed $14 million yesterday.
Jesus, I haven't even heard of it.
Yeah, this is, I don't know. Is this like one of those Christian movies? It's Jim Caviezel.
I don't know.
It's basically, guy rescues this boy from like human trafficking, and boy's like, wait, my sister's also in the human trafficking ring. So he's like, fuck, I like this kid, so I'm gonna go rescue his sister.
Oh
But
my god, that sounds
And
terrible.
that's for specifically the 4th of July on its own. If you count the full weekend, like June 30th through July 4th, it is Indy tops it out with 83 million. That Sound of Freedom, though, with all of that, and I think it just came out on the 4th of July, is in 4th place.
I've never even heard of this movie. All right.
I've been seeing ads online, it's just not even like video ads. It's like sometimes it'll be on like YouTube clips or like the promoted tweets and stuff like that. Its social media campaign has been working pretty heavily. But
this is-
Tina's plot analysis is the most I've paid attention to anything that this movie is.
The only reason I know it's plot analysis is because for the last like week or so, it's been, oh, I've seen this movie, I've seen this movie, I've seen this movie. Okay, what's Sounds of Freedom? It's what? Sounds of Freedom, No Hard Feelings, and there was one other movie that I hadn't seen at the theater. I'm like, do I want to go see it or no? And it's like, ultimately, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's like a Christian movie thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Also, so we get Joyride opening this weekend, and that one's being billed as a raunchy comedy too. But I don't think it's going to be. I think it's a different kind. It's just like, I don't know. I guess racy jokes.
Man, the trailer
And
makes me
drugs.
cringe.
The trailer is a little cringy, but look at it.
91%. You know, Bridesmaids also had a high fucking Rotten Tomatoes.
And everybody likes that movie
I
except you.
fucking hate it, man.
That's why I said you're terrible to judge comedy.
I hate that.
And then Insidious: The Red Door, no advanced screenings.
Boy, gee,
No
that sounds
advanced
so
reviews
odd.
allowed. I wonder what that
No
means.
way.
It's-
Wait, there's 3 reviews.
I mean, it's just if you like the previous movie, You're who this target audience is. You don't need reviews.
What if I haven't seen any of them all the way through?
Then you've
Well,
seen one of them.
yeah.
At least one of them. You've seen two.
Did I?
Yeah, you went and saw it.
Did we go?
No, but I remember you being like, Yahtzee, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
That's the Yahtzee movie.
That's right.
So
That's right.
there are 3 reviews up for Insidious. It's a 0% technically, since they're all rotten. How many fucking movies is this? 4, 5, 6?
I don't know. I don't know.
I never liked the Insidious series because I thought it was baby's first horror movie and it was shit.
Yeah. Anyway,
This will be
this is riveting.
the 5th film.
Yeah, so
This is the 5th one.
And then so apparently in October we're getting the 10th Saw movie. Did we really need that?
Wait, they finally made it to 10?
Saw X, that's what's coming.
I'll probably go because I'm a whore for these things.
Well, I'll probably go because I need the count.
Does Jigsaw count?
I don't know.
Because we were a whore for that, and that was a shitty movie.
Spiral
But
count.
I laughed so
Yeah,
hard.
does Spiral count? Yeah,
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
I want to go back to Insidious. This movie is actually directed by Patrick Wilson, the guy who starred in all the Insidious movies.
Oh yeah, I saw
He's
that.
starring in this one too.
Yes, well, that's why I said all of them. But he's a star in this one too, but he's also the director for this one.
Yeah,
Oh no.
I saw that he was
Okay.
going to direct it.
So the writer is from his claim to fame is Halloween Kills
Ugh.
and Firestarter.
Oh God. Firestarter. Halloween Kills is really bad, but Firestarter?
But the writing is what is the thing here.
Yeah.
And both of those are
All right.
real bad.
We need to move on because we have a conversation to be had, but we need to look at this trailer together and get reactions from it because this is important. Have you guys seen this trailer
What are
for
we
the new Martin
watching,
Scorsese
Frodo?
movie?
Oh, no, not the new one.
Oh man. All right, let's take a look at it and get some reactions from it. So, let's see here.
You know, you got nice color skin. What color would you say that is?
My color.
The Osage. They have the worst land possible. But they outsmarted everybody. The land had oil on it. Black gold. Money flows freely here now.
I do love that money, sir.
This wealth should come to us. Their time is over. It's just going to be another tragedy.
When this money started coming, we should have known it came with something else. They're like buzzards circling our people. We're still warriors.
I ought to kill these white men who killed my family. I need you here.
I am right here.
You've got to take back control of your home. I was sent down from Washington, D.C. to see about these murders.
See, what about him?
See who's doing it. Expecting a miracle to make all this go away. You know they don't happen anymore.
Hell yeah.
God, my hype for this movie. What'd you say, Tina?
It's the birth of the FBI. This is what leads to the creation of the FBI.
I don't have a clue about that until you just.
On the book Killers of the Flower Moon. It's.
Oh, well, don't tell me too much because I have not read it.
It's a prequel. It's a prequel to the J. Edgar movie.
Yes.
I know the book spans like decades.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot, but
I was curious. When it was announced, but this trailer, I was like, "Here's my money."
I'm 3.5 hours. Yeah, let's go.
My only problem is some of the CGI. There's some CGI fire in there to me that didn't look so good.
It's trailers.
Yeah, with trailers, I give leeway to CGI.
I don't know about that, sir. It's already been screened.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's already showing.
Well,
it premiered at Cannes. And the thing is people lost their mind about it at Cannes. But to lead into our conversation in a second, they also gave Harrison Ford a standing ovation.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you remember the reception at Cannes, it was very mixed.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I find that it does not seem that hard to get a standing ovation in Cannes.
I think so
especially
too.
if you're like a seasoned veteran actor or director or something doing what is essentially recognized as like the capstone of your life's work. You're going to get a standing ovation despite the quality, as we will get into about this movie.
So on this movie, though, I look at this and this is like, how old is Martin Scorsese now? He's in his late 80s.
Please hold.
He comes in here and he's like, "Hey, let me show you. Let me show you how to do it.
Sit down, boy. Let me show you how it's done."
And you can tell he's pulling out the stops here. He's got his crew, because we got Leonardo DiCaprio again, Robert De Niro in a role he should be playing and not trying to be a 40-year-old
Martin
gangster.
Scorsese is 80.
Okay, I thought he was right in there somewhere. But this movie's got such a visual flair to it. I'm like, shit, this looks good. I don't know. What did you guys think?
I'm fucking in, boy.
Yeah,
I've been in since they announced that they were making a movie on this. So.
I'm in. I'm not looking forward to 3.5 hours, but I'm sure it will be a good 3.5 hours.
Well, and there's a good chance that because The Irishman did, there's a good chance it ends up at the Belcourt, our art house theater. Not the best seats for 3.5 hours.
If I'd be a lot happier if they're like 10-minute intermission.
The only thing I wonder is when we go to see it, how long we make it into the movie before Zach elbows me, says he's got a migraine, and leaves my ass there by myself. Because this is what happens during.
That sucked so bad because I actually wanted to hear the post-film Q&A with the screenwriter too. I was there for that.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's what happened during The Irishman when we saw that.
I can't look at the fucking screen anymore. My eyes are just pain.
Well, this one's not like a Netflix movie. It's distributed by. I mean, it does have a streamer behind it, Apple TV Plus, but also Paramount Pictures. So, but I because of that, I foresee it getting a wider release than Irishman.
Yeah.
So you might be able to go see it in a theater that has some nice seats.
That would be great. It to its benefit, it does look like they built some of that town. That looked built to me, as best I can tell. I don't know if it's on the level of Nightmare Alley, but it might be.
It's hard to tell from this trailer.
From the stream, yeah.
I mean, it looks fucking good, mate.
It does. And the music, that music is banging. It really sets an ominous noir kind of tone that I'm here for. I don't know. I wasn't expecting to be this hyped for it, but all of a sudden,
because
it's
all we had heard about it was we had a single still image of Leonardo DiCaprio and that lady sitting at a table looked like an awkward, and it's like it's this 4-hour film and it's getting unwieldy and the budget is $100 million and it's like, well, this better deliver. This is a lot.
Because The Irishman did not deliver.
Yeah,
it's not good.
I don't know, man. Maybe Marty's out of his depth, and the trailer comes out, and we're like, okay, I'm sorry I ever doubted you.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know. Maybe you guys aren't as hype as me, but holy shit, this is Oppenheimer levels of hype for me. This might be my number 3 biggest hype movie. Like, I want to see Oppenheimer. I want to see the new Mission Impossible. And then I want to see this. I also want to see Barbie, but it's like number 4, number 5 for me.
Yeah,
Barbie's like,
good.
yeah, let's check it out.
I am. We got some good movies coming out in the back half of this year, starting especially with this month. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll see it. I plan on it.
So I do want to bring up one thing real quick, and we're not going to spend much time on it because you guys haven't seen it, but I want to sell it to you guys as something you need to go out of your way for. I hate that Tina's not in here. I guess she's with Evie right now. Nico?
Yep.
He's
okay.
He nodded.
Oh, he's nodding at me. I see.
It's great for
it's great
listeners.
We saw the new A24 movie Past Lives over the weekend. And Nico, I know you see them sometimes. Did you see my review on Letterboxd?
I haven't seen that one.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw the indie one. I haven't seen the Past Lives one yet.
Past Lives is just talking about what's in the trailer because I really don't want to take anything from it. It really is about a woman who, I guess she, as a kid, she connects with this boy and they have like a real special connection, but she's immigrating to the United States and they get separated randomly. So some of the stuff in the middle doesn't pop into the trailer.
So in the trailer, it's
really,
about him and her reuniting after
it
all
goes
these many
from
years.
that little kid to when they actually reunite.
Yes.
And it really
That's
is...
all you kind of need to know. Is
it's a story of them reuniting and meeting again and all of the emotions and complex situations that go along with them meeting again. And it doesn't sound like much, and it's not much in that way. It's really a simple character story. But in the closing credits, me and Zach were both embarrassed to look at each other because we were both crying at the end of that movie.
Dude, this movie hits you like with a wallop of a sledgehammer. And I didn't see the sledgehammer.
I didn't see...
trapped like Freddy Krueger above the door, ready to kill me.
I've heard people hyping about it and saying that it's that, but I didn't really take it seriously. I thought, kind of... It's an A24, so people overhype or whatever.
This looks like some... I'm not a fan of romance films. What is this?
But this movie is an absolute perfect movie.
5 out of 5.
I gave it 5 out of 5. I wouldn't touch a frame. I wouldn't change the music. I wouldn't change the way it's... I wouldn't change anything. The acting is immaculate. Yeah. The chemistry is incredible. The score is beautiful and appropriate. Like, you guys need to see this movie. This might be right now might be my favorite movie of the year so far. Like, this passes Spider-Man, this passes Infinity Pool. For me, this is like the best thing I've seen this year so far, and I did not expect that to be the case.
I mean, we went in going, I hope this doesn't suck, because today has been kind of a hit and miss day.
Yeah, because we saw Indiana Jones first.
So I really hope this kind of delivers, and then we got our shit blown in.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my god!
If you're listening to this and you have access, I know the movie is limited in its release, but damn, this movie, and I think Past Lives is a movie for everybody, even if it's not your cup of tea.
Boy!
Because it's not mine, but shit, I can't wait to watch this movie again. It's so good.
It's... every single scene moves the plot forward, is important. Mm-hmm. It builds on everything. The acting is stunningly subtle and it's like everything.
If you guys can find a way to see it, you need to go. I don't know if Tina can hear us right now. I think they're doing...
She can.
She can?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Because I want to talk more, but it gets spoilery, and I really need Nico and Tina.
No, you need to go into this almost
movie
as cold as possible.
I mean, that really what we're able to... I was trying to be thoughtful about what's in the trailer because I do not want to say anything.
Well, there was some stuff in the trailer. I'm like, I wish I kind of didn't know that.
It didn't affect my enjoyment, though.
No.
Because that movie just kicked me in the balls, and I just loved it.
But the trailer made it look like one thing, and then you sit down and watch the film, and it's like, oh, it's this. But, I mean, what we said is essentially all you need to know.
Yeah. 5 out of 5. Perfect film.
It's
perfect movie.
Beautiful.
And, this has been a weird year for me so far of, good movies. But not... Like, last year, it was banger after banger. Like, I was knocking out 4 and 4.5 stars over and over again. This year, it's been a lot of 3.5, good movies. But nothing that's like, wow.
I mean, when I walked out of Spider-Verse, I gave it 5 stars, which I'm at like 4.5.
Yeah.
But
you get down to my 4 eventually.
But walking out, I'm like, it can't be a 5. It can't be a 10. Walking out of this, it's like, that's a 10.
There's and a couple of days
no
later,
doubt.
yeah, a couple of days later, it's still there. A lot of times after you gestate on things a little bit, you maybe level out, but nope.
No, it's only solidified. Like
it just
there
it's
it is.
just made it more impactful and more like, please give me a good release of this movie so I can watch it again. I just need to watch
any
it again.
movie that can make me cry like a little bitch. Because when the movie ended, I was going to be like, oh, I hated it. I thought it was stupid. I said like one word and just broke.
Yep.
Like when your body is like, nope, can't do it. We're just going to cry now.
Yeah. God, it's such a beautiful movie. Yeah. All right, moving on to something everybody has seen that's a little less beautiful. We are going to talk about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Do we have to?
We have all seen it.
Oh.
We have all had a few days to think about it.
I wish I had a few drinks while watching
I
it.
had one. I saw it yesterday.
Okay, well, at least you've had, basically 24 hours to soak it in. So
I think I have some controversial opinions, so we'll get to those.
I think so as well. So let's see. Movie is directed by James Mangold, which had me excited because James Mangold has done some great movies. He gave us,
but it's totally not Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, he gave us Logan. So I thought, okay, and just a quick look at the writers.
Jez Butterworth.
Jez Butterworth and John Henry Butterworth.
Who
the hell
David
are these people?
Coep, James Mangold.
David Cope, I know. You've seen that name, but I think sometimes he ends up being a script doctor.
So Jez Butterworth and John Henry Butterworth have written films, like good films, like Ford v Ferrari, Spectre, Black Mass, Edge of Tomorrow. So this seems to be the team that was associated with James Mangold's previous works. Mm-hmm. David Coep wrote Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but like Jurassic Park, the original Mission Impossible, the original Spider-Man,
which is the Steven Spielberg maybe influence.
Yeah, like
him.
He's a competent screenwriter.
Yeah,
James Mangold's James Mangold. I don't really know him as a writer though.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
He wrote the screenplay to Logan, Walk the Line,
All right.
Copland, Girl Interrupted, Kate and Leopold.
Copland is a highly under talked about movie, by the way. People need to rewatch.
So we have all these writers, and they are competent.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck happened?
Yeah, so basically the story is there's another magical device that escaped Indiana Jones and an old friend who we were just meeting.
And the Nazis.
And now, as an old man, his magical goddaughter that we've never met before.
Never heard of, never met, nothing.
He has to help her put this device together before the Nazis get it.
No, he doesn't.
Well, this is what happens. This is what ends up happening. We're going to spoil this movie, by the way. But it starts out, he wants to stop the Nazis, and she is an asshole, and she just wants to get it to sell it.
Yeah. By the way, that's like 45 minutes into this movie by the time we finally learn that.
Yeah, so of course we have Harrison Ford, and then his goddaughter Helena is played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Now, did you guys watched Fleabag, right?
I've seen one episode of Fleabag. It didn't
Oh, that's right. You guys actually, the one I was thinking of was Miss Maples, Miss Marples. You guys watched all that.
I've seen the one with the new Lois Lane in it.
That's it.
Should we just go through this movie sequentially?
Sure.
Okay, so let's open up, and we have our flashback, which we're going to break tradition with Indiana Jones. We're not going to transition from the Paramount logo onto a mountain
and
or a
that made
hill.
me so damn sad that wasn't there.
You should have done it, but I guess corporate determined that Lucasfilm has to come next.
You know what they could have done, though, is since it's a Disney film now and has the Disney castle could have been on it, and then transitioned to the German castle that they were at.
They could have done that.
I would have almost been fine with that.
I probably would have hated it, but I guess it would have worked. It would have worked. Yeah, so we start out with a flashback to set up this character that we have not met before.
Now, quick pause.
Yeah.
Every single, except for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, the
So
original
three,
trilogy,
3 of the 5, yeah.
3 of the 5, the opening adventure, because this is a serial, remember we're doing the serials, has nothing to do, or is the tail end of a previous adventure before starting main adventure.
Yeah.
This film says fuck that, and the events in this adventure directly tie into main adventure. This is just adventure.
So,
Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, it is half of that. It is the tail end of an adventure. It is the tail.
That's what I was
end
going to say.
Of this expedition that Indy's on, this 5-bit. It does eventually cascade into the next thing. But I mean, all the other ones, while they don't directly, they do kind of tie into it. So, like in Raiders, the MacGuffin is after the beginning of the movie doesn't matter for the rest of it, but it's also where you meet Belloc.
Yes.
Yes,
Indy.
but
And
the fertility idol has nothing to do with the rest of the film.
Yeah.
The cremated remains of Nurbachi have nothing to do.
Okay, so one
The Cross
of the
of
3...
Coronado has nothing to do.
One of the 3, you're talking about 3. One of the 3 actually does tie into the rest of the movie, at least in character. And that's what I was thinking too. And I'm like, so then now you're looking at 2 movies, basically. Of 5.
No, I'm saying the thing he's going after has nothing to do.
It's character, because it's like you're introduced to Willie really before you're introduced to Indy, because Willie Scott.
I don't think you're getting my point.
I am getting your point. You're talking about just whatever the piece of treasure is.
Yes.
But the bigger thing is,
Okay.
who gives a fuck about the treasure? The bigger thing is the characters. There is something
That is my point. That the opening thing is supposed to be the conclusion MacGuffin, and then we go either with new characters we've met during that previous adventure into a new thing. But the point is, we're supposed to put that to bed. Crystal Skull said fuck that, and I was annoyed as shit by that in 2008. So we're doing that again. Fine.
It's also not because it wasn't the treasure MacGuffin. It was the dial that's in the opening portion is accidental. The treasure MacGuffin is the Lantalongens, which they find out. Oh,
I mean, they're fighting over it through 90% of the opening.
because they find out about it, but that's not actually what what he was after.
Yeah,
He was after the land.
Fuck you, I'm right. End
I don't
of
think you
story.
are.
You lose. Bye bye. Anyway,
you are.
so to move on.
He was after the knife.
So they have him, tied up in a bag, and they reveal it, and it's de-aged Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
And as soon as he fucking opens his mouth, it's so.
It's old Indy. You can't even understand him for the first 15 fucking seconds.
It's not good.
Which, by the way, he shouldn't look like that. He should look like Harrison Ford in Patriot games.
Yep.
Because why does he look like 1982 Harrison Ford? He should look like 1996 Harrison Ford. The earlier ones took place in the 30s.
Yeah.
We're in the 40s now.
Yep, that's all entire. Yeah, Patriot games there is a forward would be perfect. And they did that when they did the de-aging for like the slightly further ahead bit when it's like the Helena character when she's younger and all that. Like they make him look like Patriot games Harrison Ford. Like no, that's what he should have looked like in the beginning of the movie.
Yes,
he should.
I don't know.
Look like he did in Crystal Skull in that mid flashback scene.
I don't know why they couldn't do what they did with Blade Runner when they recovered that footage.
Yeah,
it's
it
just
looks great.
Get his son to come in and be a face actor.
His son wasn't like acting as much.
He wasn't acting during Blade Runner either. He just did it as a favor, pretty much.
No.
They just come in and
when his son is playing him in Blade Runner. One, that's years ago at this point, so I don't know what his evolution looks like now. But the other part too is like Indy is acting in the scenes he's in. He is talking, facing front at the camera.
But my point is because he was acting in the scenes in Blade Runner that they put back too. They just used his son's image to map in the jawline and the chin and the nose to get those things. Instead of just doing it all with a computer, they used aspects of his son's face because he was the right difference in age for the role. And he might be now, if he's, chunked up and stuff, maybe that would be different. Maybe his face isn't the same, form as it was. But it feels like they did more than they had to. Like, in all of those scenes, I don't have any of the issues that Zach has with this opening thing. I think
it's way too fucking long.
It's minutia. It doesn't matter. The thing that bothers me is it's long as hell.
Yeah.
Like this flashback goes on and on and on, and every time he's talking, they can't just have him in shadow. Like, they could have done a little CGI work and then put him in shadow, but it's like they put a spotlight on his face every time, and I'm like,
it feels like they are really proud of the de-aging work they did when they shouldn't be. And that's why they wanted to show it off. It's like, no, you shouldn't show this off. You should do like what you said, Steven. Put it in shadow.
In the space where we are with that technology, it's pretty good. I mean, it's as good or better
it's
than
the
anything
best I've seen, but the problem is we're right in that uncanny valley.
Yeah, in 10 years from now, it's going to look like shit when people revisit the movie. And that's a problem we have in general with filmmaking, is no one's making movies for the future. They're making them for the now, and then we move on. And that sucks.
The thing is, I couldn't, when I was watching the de-aging, it sticks out like a sore thumb. You just can't help it. It just was, even like the hair CGI, like you could at least put a wig on for that part or something. But I just keep thinking, it's like, we had an opportunity for probably how the Indy franchise should have gone in what is really the fourth really best Indy movie, which is Steven Spielberg's The Adventures of Tintin.
Yeah.
If they just went straight CGI the whole way through, so you don't have the uncanny valley because it's just all CGI, and Tintin is an indie movie. Like, it's stock and trade. It is an adventure movie.
It is, but I would hate that.
But the problem you're gonna have, honestly, you're gonna have with that is, okay, so we're making an indie film. Why does Indy sound like he's 87?
True, but it also makes it easier. And I'm fine with Indy dying. Not, well, you could die in the movie. But what I mean is, I'm fine with Indy as a franchise.
Well, if you kill Indy off, it goes against canon.
Yeah, well, no, see, I'm fine with Harrison Ford, with Indy as a franchise dying with Harrison Ford. Like, there's no more Indy past Harrison Ford.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you are a mega corporation that owns the brand and want to continue it, it is a lot easier to transition actors if it's a fully CGI product where you don't have to worry about matching the face. You don't have to have the James Bond problem. You could just find a new voice actor that kind of sounds like Harrison Ford.
Well, and the thing with James Bond, though, it's a good comparison, is it's something we've just gotten used to. Mm-hmm. And it maybe is, this is blasphemy at this point, but is maybe something you could do with Indiana Jones. Bring in an actor, let him do 3, and then bring in a new actor. I mean, maybe it is something you could do.
Well,
I think they could have.
There are actors now that I think could do it.
Oh, Chris Pratt?
No.
That's who they do.
I think
Bradley Cooper would be better. To be honest,
he would be. He totally would be better. But I think you could have done that before 2008. Before you decided we can make Indy old. And once they decided we could just keep Indy aging with Harrison Ford, they ended that timeline. Because
and you know what? I love old Indy. I love these kinds of movies where you have this old-ass crotchety version of a hero that has to find a way and come back. I enjoy that sort of like formula. They just need to do it well. And this movie isn't done well, and that's the problem. Mm-hmm. We should refocus and get back on the actual...
Okay, so this whole intro
widgets
here,
of this movie.
You could just... So basically, he's taken to a castle, he escapes from the castle, and then there's a car chase that leading to a train, where on the train he has to rescue his friend and get the MacGuffin, and then get off the train. Start at the train. Mm-hmm. You do not need that. Just start with him being captured, and he's on the train. Mm-hmm. Have it be a 10-minute opening sequence. That's fine.
10-minute max.
It feels like it's 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's technically only about 15, right? But it does.
That's not good then, because it feels like 20
longer.
minutes.
Yeah.
Because there's set piece after set piece after set piece.
Yeah.
So TLDR, he gets the MacGuffin and they survive. Bad guy gets hit in the face on a train going 45, 50 miles an hour with a pipe.
No physical damage.
And he doesn't get a scar. He doesn't lose an eye. Nothing. He's fine. Fuck you. That would have taken off what's his name's head from Speed.
Yeah.
If Captain America taught us anything, at least cut off an arm and make it a steel.
Exactly.
I mean, shit. Something. A hand is missing.
This is the video game impact. That's what I call this.
I mean, it just hit me out because I was like, fuck you, he's dead.
It looked like a video game.
Yeah.
CGI was that bad.
And that gets to the thing. They sold this movie as, we're going to use as little CGI as possible.
As very little, we're building so much. They lied. This movie is so much CGI, and it's bad. It's really bad. It's the shiny CGI. I don't understand why Lucasfilm keeps going for this shiny ass CGI. It looks fake.
And then character designs, like you see Harrison Ford moving through the train, and he, has this certain movement because he is a fucking old man that just had his face CGI'd. But then when they show the zoomed out shot of him running on top of the train,
and he's moving faster than James Bond, he's moving faster than Indiana Jones in his prime.
It's an inconsistency with the character design, and it just makes it stand out more. All right. Any other comments on that section? Tina, did you get to throw some comments in there on this intro? What did you think?
Yeah, but I got run over.
No.
Well, that's why I'm coming back to you. No,
I agree 100% with everything. The thing that irked me the most on that opening sequence is the fucking hanging in the bell tower. It's like, I'm sorry, his neck should have snapped at least 17 different times.
Yeah.
The bomb blew up and killed everyone around him.
By his neck as the building's imploding. It's like
the ragdoll physics were nuts.
No.
Yeah.
No. Indy should have died.
But everybody else gets killed by that bomb except for him.
Yep.
You know what it reminded me of, that sequence? It reminded me of the refrigerator.
Okay. I want to get to. I'll say more comments about comparing to Crystal Skull later.
Okay.
Because I came home after watching this movie and watched Crystal Skull. Yeah. Came home, watched Crystal Skull, fresh comparison in my mind. The fridge didn't bother me as much. It still bugs me, not that it survives the nuclear blast, but the whole bouncing around it. Because there's no backing in that fridge. But it doesn't bother me as much because at least it doesn't look as terrible as this movie.
Yeah. And that's funny, talking about an older movie that doesn't look as bad as this movie. Well, I do think moving forward, there's some stuff in Crystal Skull that looks worse than this one.
No, I think the bomb shot looks very good.
Yeah. But that scene is not it.
So from that flashback, we get the basic gist of the story. We meet the new character. We know what they're going to be after. We see the bad guy, who's a great casted great, by the way.
I was about to say, Mads Mikkelsen, I have almost no problems with him. Some of the writing is bad, but that's not his fault. He does absolutely what he can.
Yeah. It's pretty much like you need a really classy Nazi. You're going to get Mads or you're going to get Christoph Waltz. It's like...
Yeah, that's true.
He was very tuned into the role. He did it pretty well. I thought he was a good villain.
Yeah.
So we get into the main part of the movie. We get introduced to Harrison Ford, and I actually like this bit of character building that happens with him. Is he's, old, not in the best shape, get off my yard kind of guy. Yeah.
Which they set up that he's an alcoholic, and then it kind of just fizzles out.
I didn't get that he's an alcoholic necessarily.
He woke up and poured a drink for breakfast.
Well, and we learn why later. I don't know that he does it every day, but he's being put out to pasture essentially that day. So it's not necessarily a celebratory moment. And then we learn later why he, there's other character layers to why he's the way he is. But he goes into this classroom to teach. And this shouldn't be a big deal, but you start thinking about things more when a movie is kind of a failure. He goes in
Your brain's allowed to linger.
Yeah, he goes into the teach, and this really bothered me. He's in probably, what school's he in?
Hunter College.
Yeah. So he goes in there and he's teaching a very high level archaeology class, and they go Go ahead.
Which in Kingdom Skulls, he was actually the assistant dean of a different college.
Yeah.
So it's a severe demotion.
He definitely changed universities from the one he had been at for the other 4 movies. This is not the same one.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
Well, and they go to the trouble to try to note it too, because they say he's been there for the last decade, the last 10 years, not the last however many it's supposed to be.
When was it? Was 57, and this is 69. So in 3 years, he went from assistant dean to
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, this is me doing the writer's fork for him, but I guess he hated that job.
Well, I don't know if he hated that job, but we have a lot more story things that probably pushed him to that that we're going to get to.
Yeah.
But the thing that bothered me is he's teaching a high-end archaeology class. This is not a prereq.
Yeah, this isn't
class.
an intro to, or I need this to knock out my general education requirements.
Yeah,
No,
this is a class
what I
people
made
set
for
out to
you.
take.
And people are just absolutely bored out of the skulls, not paying attention. And it could be because of the celebration that day of, the astronauts are in the city and everybody else has it off. Or it could just be the writers just suck at putting together a scene.
I know what they're getting across, because like we're all familiar with like the Indy in Raiders, when he's the teaching at Raiders and has like there's the one female student that has like the other I spelled out "I love you" like on there, and then we cut back to that in Last Crusade when he's just being charged down by all of his students. Like he is, people like him as a professor, and this is just to show that it's like this is not that Indy anymore. He is kind of
jaded.
Well, and he is not connecting with the younger generation of students the same way. And they, of course, he's not attractive to the female student like he was back in the 30s. But again, I understand the point they're going for, but to Steven's point is completely valid. Like these students should be interested in what's going on because of the high level course he's doing.
Yeah, I just felt like they should be engaged, but they're not.
Yeah.
And it's all, and that's the difference, because what you say is, I agree, is absolutely what they're going for. But instead of creating a believable world, they're using it as a plot tool because they're too lazy to actually write it. You know what I mean?
I'm fine with them being disassociated if, like, you set up, like he has his window open and you can hear the music and stuff from outside and they're all looking at it and would rather be there and he has to go shut it.
Yeah.
That says they're normally into this, but today, because of the moon thing going on, that's where their brain is. We don't get that, though.
I think ultimately, were you going to say something, Tina?
No.
Oh, okay. I think ultimately, to me, the scene is unneeded because it feels weird that he's teaching and then immediately he steps out of that classroom into the office where they're like, bye, here's your watch or here's your gift, have some cake, you're retired. They could have just taken that scene completely out and had him go right into retirement. Because
He's also,
the way it
like,
was
doing assignments too. I think he tells them to read this thing. It's like I'm guessing the retirement party isn't necessarily his last
No,
day.
he was saying, has anybody read this? No, it's going to be on the test, which that's weird because it's like, why are you doing the test?
Yeah, if he's not given the test. What likely is the case is the retirement party necessarily isn't the last day of school.
Yeah, but now you see it's just like what Zach just said. You're having to do the writing for him.
And the weird thing, too, is, okay, so this is based on history. When was the Apollo Parade Day in New York?
I don't know.
August 13th. But the thing is, are students in college in class on August 13th? Are you being retired at the start of a semester?
It's the end of summer school.
Yeah.
But you need to establish that.
And that's why I feel like it would have just been better, because the movie's long as shit anyway, is to just wipe that out, let him go into the retirement part.
Yes.
Instead of...
Unfortunately, I think it was like their only bright way, or the way that they decided to go is to start introducing Helena, because otherwise she's just going to find him in a bar.
I mean, I'd almost prefer that.
Yeah, for real.
Because I know it gets it sets up that she knows her shit, but if you just have her walk in and we can establish her character there, I mean, what do you lose?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for Indy, she's not really established till the bar scene because he doesn't recognize her at all.
Yeah, so just cut that scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Well,
So that-
the thing
Go
with
ahead.
the scene is it's also doing the legwork of
For
introducing
the
Archimedes.
CIA.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
but the Archimedes thing. It's going back to Last Crusade. He has the class about X never marks the spot, so that we can be set up for the library scene where X does mark the spot. And I believe this is, I forget if there is a similar payoff. I think there is in Raiders, but
There is, but how long are those scenes? 30 seconds?
I agree. This is a fundamental problem with this movie overall. It feels like it's trying to be an Indiana Jones movie instead of feels like an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
Like it recognizes there are certain things that an Indiana Jones movie typically has, including the college scene, including Nazis, including a chase scene in the beginning, stuff like that. It's like we have to have these, but it's not hitting them well because it's trying to be an Indiana Jones movie instead of just being an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, that could be because it's not Spielberg.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like it's trying to be one of like the Mummy movies or National Treasure movies, which were knockoffs of Indiana Jones. So now we're having an Indiana Jones film not be Indiana Jones, but be a knockoff of a knockoff.
It's not that Indiana Jones necessarily was completely original. It was, Spielberg and Lucas wanting to do those adventure serials.
Yeah,
that
for sure.
They watched as kids, but it is definitely a refreshing take on it. It completely reinvigorated the action adventure franchise. But it's like this one is trying to digest Indiana Jones through the vision of, like what Zach said, everything else that has digested Indiana Jones since then. So it's weird. And it's, as much as Crystal Skull gets reviled, it feels more like an Indiana Jones movie than this one.
Yep.
Like,
Agreed.
Even though
I admit, the dumbest things in Crystal Skull are dumber than anything in this movie. That's
Well, I
no
feel
question.
like all the big issues of Crystal Skull are Lucas.
Yeah.
I think that's right. I think you're entirely right
Yeah.
on that. But
Yeah.
the dumbest things, the top two things in my mind are like the alien ending scene is nuts, and then Shia LaBeouf vine swinging with monkeys is
Yeah.
ridiculously
bad.
dumb. But the dumbest things in that movie are dumber than anything in this movie. But otherwise, it feels like an Indiana Jones movie. It hits all the chase beats, the adventure beats, the comedy beats. It hits the stuff it needs to because you have Spielberg doing it. And I like James Mangold, but he's not Steven Spielberg.
He's not the
That
guy.
and you end up liking the characters in
Yeah,
Crystal Skull.
that too. It's like Helena, the Bobby.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
And we lost
We lost him.
Oh, nope, they're muted.
Why did they mute?
Why did they mute?
You guys are
I
muted.
think I get it. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge is hitting the part. Like all the acting, all the actors are doing fine, but the character is just completely
Yeah,
unlikable.
it's not her fault. It's the writer's
And
fault
she-
for giving her no redeeming qualities. I'm sorry, but you're an asshole in the beginning of the movie and you're an asshole at the end.
She never has a character growth.
Yes.
Like there's nothing at the end of the movie that makes me think, oh, she's not going to be she's the everything everyone says Indy is. Like she is a grave robber. She steals to sell it on the black market, and nothing at the end of the movie makes me think she's not that anymore.
This
moment
is
when I know that there is no redeeming part for her is when they're driving away from the boat and she's woo-hooing and Indy just blows up at her because she's showing.
Yeah,
It's nice
because
to know we're all on the same page
his friend
here.
just got murdered. It's
Yeah.
like shit.
and he blows up. He's like, my friend just died,
And I want to
and
hit.
you're saying, woohoo!
And I want to hit on that one real quick, and then I want to let other people have the floor. This movie has a surprising amount of death in it.
It's kill count.
Antonio Banderas is in here for a bit. Antonio Banderas is a big role in this movie and gets killed off like completely, just nonchalantly. Give it him. If someone offered me a bit part in any movie, I'd take it. But still, it's freaking Antonio Banderas. And then the actress who plays the female CIA agent in a completely unnecessary role to the plot. It's like had no reason to be killed because it had no reason to appear back in the movie when she did.
Yeah.
And it's just like you're trying to like clean the slate of people we just met and have no emotional attachment to.
Okay, let me fix the Antonio Banderas thing. So he needs a boat to go find the second half of this piece, whatever. That's fine. Let's replace Antonio Banderas, because Antonio Banderas gets killed, and we're like, oh, okay, we don't know him. That must suck. Replace him with Sala. Have him come back and get Sala get killed.
Oh no.
Well, then it would matter.
It would matter because
Yeah.
as an audience, we're like, oh my god, they killed off Sala.
Honestly-
Indiana Jones is now pissed, and we can understand it. And
Yeah,
we doubly
honestly,
don't like her because she's like, woohoo.
Hang on.
They could have had like honestly, I think it would have to me it would have been more impactful if it was like somebody like Short Round or like a younger companion he had in the previous
Yes.
movie. That
Give
like
it someone we know.
yeah.
That's true. That's true. But then you would start to border on what really is turning me off about modern takes on legacy movies is, ooh, let's get the nostalgia. Even though there's nostalgia in this movie inherently because of what it is.
Sala's already in the film.
I know. Well, he's fine. But if we would have brought back Short Round or we would have brought back more people, it would be like a little like, ooh, let's get the gang back together for one last ride. You know,
It's the last one.
I think they brought back enough people. I actually would have liked to see Short Round, but not in a major role, like in a small, like almost to the extent that Sala was in the very first part of the movie.
I would not have liked that.
Okay.
Because it gets into what I really hate about
But
movies
here-
right now. It's too many cameos.
Here's my
and Easter
counterpoint.
eggs.
Everyone else is dead. Literally, the only cameos you can do is Sala and Short Round and Willie.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And we don't need Willie.
Well, we know that he would have done it. He would have come back as Short Round had he been asked. He would have done it in a hot second. But I want to get back real quick because I didn't really talk much about this Helena character, and what you guys said is all
fucking
100%
hate her.
right.
I fucking
and
hate her.
I went into this really interested to see because the advanced word is she's so great, you know, spin-off opportunities, all this stuff, and I watched this character.
I will not watch a single thing if it's her.
They canceled it. They canceled the spin-off that they were going to do.
Well, yeah, because
she's fucking terrible. Now the actress, all this talk about her, I think because she's so good in Fleabag is maybe what it is, because in this movie she's fine. She's not bad, but she's not memorable. And it may not be because of her, it may be because of the script, because they make you hate this character for the entirety of the movie, and then skipping ahead in the third act, they flip the script on her, but they don't give us any reason to believe it.
Reason. Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She does a good thing, but only because she has an emotional attachment to him. And
yeah, but why does she suddenly have this emotional attachment that she has not had through the entirety of the movie? She's tried to ditch him a bunch of times. She's shitting on everything that matters to him and her father. It was not believable. And the very last scene of this movie with her, the way they kind of domesticate her, does not work.
Oh.
Does not work. I hated this. And that's one thing that I can say throughout the other movies, even Crystal Skull, I don't know that I hated an individual character for the entirety of the movie.
I did not like Mac because I did not know if he was a good guy or a bad guy. That's writing, though. That's not Ray Winstone's performance.
Hmm? Well, and this isn't Phoebe Waller-Bridge's fault either, necessarily. This is just the way her character was written.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, like Zach's point about Mac in Crystal Skull, that's intentional. Like you don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. They intentionally played that up. But like this one is just bad writing on not really endearing the audience to the character that should be someone that they want, especially if they want to build a franchise around going forward. But I don't know. It didn't work. I liked it. I thought the kid was fun.
I mean, this is
See,
the second...
I like the kid did fine acting wise, but again, I just didn't like the kid.
I don't even remember the kid.
I was fine with the kid. I didn't have an issue with him. I know he was Short Round's replacement in this movie.
I mean, but this is the second fucking Lucasfilm film that Phoebe Waller-Bridge has been in that I fucking hate her character.
Yeah, it's starting to make you question her, actually.
Yes.
What's the other one?
L3 in Solo. She played the robot, Equal Rights.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
She played that character, and I fucking hated her, and I cheered in the theater when she got blown the fuck up. Because it's essentially Lando crying about his sex robot turning off.
I don't think that's a problem with the actress. I think
that's not a problem with her. It's just another fucking character in a Lucasfilm film that I'm like, I fucking hate her. And I don't want to look sexist because it's the same actress. It's just like, can you be something likable, please?
Well, early on with her character, they really set the tone for her as just an asshole. When they get stopped by the cops and he's like, tell them to put their guns down, and she's like, I just told them to shoot you.
Well, fuck you then, bitch.
Yeah, fuck you. This is your godfather. He might have been a shitty godfather, but still, that's what you're gonna say.
Also,
and I think, wait, hang on. I think that scene was supposed to be a joke. It was supposed to be played for humor, but that's a thing that I felt for the entirety of this movie is the humor doesn't land. It doesn't work. And instead of being funny, it made her look worse. And I don't think that was the intent. Go ahead.
Also, I'm sorry, if my godfather, who I know has fought Nazis, even if I don't particularly know him that well, tells me that, oh, hey, I recognize you. You're a Nazi. And I turn to him and be like, no, he's a professor at the University of Alabama. Fuck you. He's a fucking Nazi.
Which I understand what they're going for on that one. The whole like Von Braun thing of the average people didn't understand what Operation Paperclip was about taking Nazi scientists and using them in their work. So of course he seems like a famous scientist that's helped America, but he was definitely a Nazi, and this is a thing that the U.S. government did, and that's what it's getting across is that people just didn't know it, but.
With her line of work, she should have fucking known.
Or at least believe Indiana Jones.
So we're into the meat of the movie now. We can't keep doing this because it's 7:30.
Yeah. But there was a CIA character.
So what happened with the fucking CIA? They set that up, and then the CIA just disappears.
Yeah, it's so because like the CIA was keeping track on the Mads Mikkelsen character, who goes by Mitt early on because he's under an alternate name while he's in the U.S. He apparently helped the rocket program.
Yeah, apparently the deal was, hey, we'll help you find this Archimedes dial thing if you help us get to the moon so that we don't look like idiots in front of the Russians.
He is Von Braun. He is the Von Braun in the alternate timeline that Indiana Jones exists in. But then he is been trying to get the dial after he has helped America, and eventually America's like, okay, fine, it's your pet project, we'll help, until it's a nuisance. And when he ditches meeting the president of the United States to get a medal, he goes instead to chase Indy and the Helena character to find the dial. The CIA is like, no, we're going to bag and tag you, we're taking you back in.
You're going right now.
In his little bodyguard group, which are Nazi Nazi wannabes.
Yeah, for sure.
From Alabama.
Kill her and the rest of the CIA agents, take over the helicopter, and continue their chase on Indy, which I do not understand how they keep a good beat on Indy. There's a one point in the movie where Indy and company strand Mads Mikkelsen and his team on a boat in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. And all we hear from Mads Mikkelsen is they're going east. It's like they're going west instead of the direction they tried to make me think they were going. So he apparently knows where he meets them at.
Well, that's the problem too, because they go in what direction. How do you know they're not just going to get to the nearest fucking community, regroup, and then go wherever they need to go?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This film is oddly repetitive to where good guys arrive at scene, bad guys arrive, chase scene. Good guys arrive at scene, bad guys arrive, chase scene. This happens like 4 times in this movie.
It's so long. It's like, I thought the chase scene in Tangier was okay. It wasn't great, but I thought it was okay. But
to me, it was the best one in the movie. The bar is low.
I just felt the AC.
That's why I said it's okay. It's not terrible, but it's the best one.
If he didn't have the crazed, weird love interest for her,
which went nowhere.
Yeah, I agree, but I just that whole I love you, let me chop your head off. Like,
it made no
what
sense.
is it about? And it means nothing. You're right. It means nothing.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Useless plot.
It
thread.
was the whole
to forget
beginning of that
Yeah.
chase scene. Yeah, that chase scene, to what Tina said, wouldn't exist without that guy. So
Yeah.
it's crazy, and it literally is the best chase scene in the movie, which is
It's
sad.
not saying
Well,
much because
yeah.
I thought it was just.
So let me ask you guys this: did anybody else feel like so? Part of the thing about Indiana Jones is going into the temple, whatever it is, or going into the ruins. It felt like the ruins that they eventually go in were just like around the corner from the city. Like they didn't really travel
Yeah.
to it at all. And then once they got there, it felt like Mammoth Cave or something.
It's
It
a
was
mile
tiny.
down the road.
Go ahead.
I wonder what they're trying to get to. I think I'm doing writer's work for them because I don't know if this is
100% because they
intentional or
didn't
not.
do their job.
Is kind of the whole things are less remote now, or at least not that they weren't. I mean, it's not like the '60s were sufficiently more urbanized and spread out compared to the '30s. If you were to compare the '60s to now, for instance, but it could be trying to get across the sense of things aren't as remote. Maybe, I guess I don't know. I think you're right. I don't disagree. There wasn't as much going into the wilderness. The closest we got is the boat trip because that's the only remote thing that we really deal with at all in this movie. They don't really go into the desert. I mean, and all it says is like, I miss the desert. And it's like, man, I do too. I miss
Yeah, me too.
I miss Lost. I mean, I watched all the indie movies getting ready for this one and after, and it's like, yeah, those are better.
Yeah. So it's kind of fun that where they go is actually a tourist destination. But if it's a tourist destination and you go into it and it feels like such a small tunnel, because it doesn't feel like an epic, grandiose cave at all. It feels like a tiny little cave.
Laura Croft and Tomb Raider would look at this and go, "This is a sad."
Yeah, this
tomb."
looks like a bathroom. But no one has found the treasure that's in there, and I know that the part of the magic of the Indiana Jones movies, and even more so the National Treasure movies, is luck of the draw, being there at the right time, finding the right thing. But still, it didn't feel very hard to do. And thousands of people probably go through this thing daily because it's a tourist destination. And none of it rang true to me, and that probably made me the most sad because that's some of the most fun parts for me of the Indiana Jones movies.
Boy, they go in that fucking cave and they're like, "Look on the wall, it's the moon crescent, like on the thing we have," and I'm like, that is incredible. That on a random day, at a random hour, they were able to come in and just see it.
Yeah.
Like it would have been something if there was like
Painting or something.
it says the time. It's like be here around this time. Kind of like in Raiders, how it's like
In Raiders, yeah.
time.
But no, it's fine. And by the way, the bad guys come through 20 minutes later, and it's still there.
And we get one
Fuck
tiny
you.
We get one tiny little sequence in there of, there's always the kind of the 1940s scary movie moments in there where it's like bugs or skeletons or whatever. We get one tiny little moment of that, and to me, Phoebe Waller-Bridge was not good in that moment.
No.
And I guess I was saving this for the wrap up, but the thing that makes me the most sad about this movie is she wasn't good. Harrison Ford was good.
Yes.
Harrison Ford, I feel like in a weird way, you might be right. Crystal Skull might be a more Indiana Jones movie than this one. But to me,
Ford is way better in this.
I felt Harrison Ford was more here for this movie than Crystal Skull. I loved him
Because Ford
in this
was
movie.
leading.
It's just everything around him sucked. And it makes me really sad.
Well, I
Well,
think
it's also
the script gives. Sorry, I think it's the one thing the script does well is it does give meat to the bone of the Indy character. Like Indy is going through a lot at this point, has gone through a lot,
And that's why I prefer this movie to Crystal Skull, because there's complexity to his character.
I think that's fair.
And there's also Indy taking charge and leading, whereas in Crystal Skull, it's, where do we go, Ox? What do we do next, Ox? Ox must have been here. It was like, man, I want to see Indiana fucking Jones, not Ox.
Yeah. But in this story, they killed off his son, and that led to him, the breakup with his wife, and I feel like that also led to him switching schools and having the demotion. I feel
But I
like
don't think the timeline works on that, though.
what's that?
I don't think the timeline works on that, does it? Like, I don't remember if they said when Mutt dies he
don't.
dies in Vietnam, like he enlisted and died. But if it's 10 years, like Zach just went through the timeline like half an hour ago.
I don't know if it works for the school thing or not, but I didn't really honestly watching the movie didn't care too much about the school thing that much.
He's what, 17 and 57?
I don't know.
Well, I care about the school thing just because. Oh, hey, now Indy's wanted for murder. That never gets cleared up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like the news and the cops believe that like Vogler's people, the Mad
Nazis.
yeah, the Nazis kill some of the teaching staff at Indy School trying to get him
And the news is like, oh, this guy just stabbed because his son died and his wife
yeah, they think it's Indy who did it, and they never resolve. Oh, it wasn't Indy.
Yeah.
So let's talk. I'm getting a.
Well, yeah, let's
Text-
get to
Let's get to the third act and talk about that.
What
Yeah.
did he
So the third act
MacGuffin is completed.
is complete, and Indiana Jones ends up going back in time.
Well, Indiana Jones gets shot and captured.
Yeah.
They get on a plane. And this is the one thing I did actually like, was that all the MacGuffin did was point to where these naturally occurring rifts happen. It doesn't create them. It's not like you can just set a dial and go, we're going back and going to save Mutt. No, it just, hey, it's over. It's Jack Sparrow's compass. It just points.
Yeah.
So they go through the rift, and the whole time Indiana Jones is like, oh, fuck, the Continental Drift.
Yeah,
Where
so
are we going?
The plot is, the goal of the Nazis is
we're gonna go back and kill Hitler.
well, odd. But
they're the bad
basically,
guys?
Mads Mikkelsen's character, Vogler, decides he was a Nazi. He was a Nazi scientist throughout World War II, and it's like, I saw what we did wrong.
Hitler made a lot of mistakes. I'm not Hitler. I won't fuck it up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back, kill Hitler, and become the Führer.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
so they're like the Ron DeSantis to Donald Trump. Mads Mikkelsen is a smarter Hitler, so yeah, he's definitely the bad guy. He's definitely the bad guy. Hey, I stand by it, baby. I stand by it.
I'm not disputing it. But yeah, and they believe through their calculations that this rift is going to send them to 1939, and instead, Indy realizes, has the epiphany on the plane.
Archimedes didn't know that continents shift.
Yeah, so all of his math work doesn't take into account that things have shifted throughout the 2,000 years since then. So instead of sending them to 1939, it sends them to like
Archimedes
240 something CE. Like,
Wait a minute.
In the time of, coincidentally, the time of Archimedes.
Let's not get too buried in minutia. We got to wrap up at some
wait
point.
a minute. If this is a storm and it just happens,
Yeah.
why would it give a fuck about the continents?
Yeah.
Well, because
Yep.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say don't pick it.
See, I took it to mean
Yeah.
as, especially when Archimedes says, "If you found this, you were always meant to meet me." Of like, it doesn't actually travel in time like through different periods. It only leads to that particular date because Archimedes was calling for help. They even said, "This was your way to get help."
Yeah, but that was just one big red herring.
I when it happened in the movie, when Indy was doing the Continental Drift thing, I thought it was a fake out to buy time. Like I didn't think he was legitimately meaning it. I thought he was just trying to get the Vogler character to doubt himself and not go through with it. And then
Plan succeeded, but fucked up.
it almost succeeded, but it still happened. And maybe they were both wrong, and maybe the drift did have an impact, or maybe, like Tina says, it was always going to go to this Battle of Syracuse. Not
I like Tina's perspective on it. That actually makes a lot of sense to me. But you could argue also too, though, that continental drift does have effect on weather and weather patterns. It does all tie together. So I think
it doesn't make sense at this point in the plot.
I mean, that's fine, but it just didn't I mean, if it was always an SOS call that was always going to go to that, it feels like it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
What doesn't matter?
The whole continental shift, because it was always just going to go there.
Yeah, I think continental shift was a red herring, that it didn't matter. But
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
Again,
Yeah.
doing the writer's work for them.
I mean, yeah, we're in a situation with a shit script, so we start going into too much minutia. It's like, yeah, it's a shit
There's
script.
no reason to make them doubt. It could have just that scene could have not happened. It could have gone with Vogler and the Nazis completely thinking, no doubt, that they're in 1939, and then it's like, oh wait, nope, you were always going to come to here anyway. It was not. That was not how it worked. You were wrong.
I think what's more interesting about that, because I feel like we're focusing on 2 minutes in the airplane. What's more interesting to me is when they're actually back in time and the emotional beats that Indiana Jones gets to have while he's there. I like that. I prefer them going back in time than seeing alien shit.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It falls to me like I don't really have a problem with the alien stuff because it's part of those old serials had all that shit.
But
in
it has nothing to do with history.
But this one really is the only piece of this movie that I feel is like a true culmination of all the movies. Of the one man who spent his entire life studying history is fucking in one of the most iconic moments in history, and he knows he's been shot, so he's probably gonna die, and he's just like, just fucking leave me here, let me experience it.
In the beginning, when you're at the college and they're going over the siege of Syracuse, he's like, we'll never know if this actually happened, this actually happened, this actually happened, because there's no record of it. There's no. And then he gets there and he's like, all of this is happening. It's true. You can see like he's like a kid in a candy store.
Well, it builds it up because
real quick, let me jump in real quick. 80s made consumer says I went in with low expectations and was still disappointed.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
but yeah, it's like I mentioned earlier. I mean, that's why you do the college scene, is to kind of like cue up the what's going to happen later, to kind of play off of it. But they also did the same thing with the less far flashback when it has Indy, like 50s Indy, going to get the dial from Helena's dad, and he's ranting about like how he can't prove it, and Indy yells like, proving it is what makes it science. And it's like he could prove what happened now because he's visually seeing it. So but I think that worked well for like a last call of Indy, like let Indy be part of history. But I don't know, something about it just feels a little off.
It's off because someone who knows and loves history so much, you would also think he wouldn't want to disturb it, and just by being there, he's disturbing it. But you can put that up to one being shot, being a little probably lacking blood at that point, also having a pretty depressing life for the last 10 years because of all the things that we've talked about. You know, maybe his judgment isn't where it should be at 80 years old also.
Too, like appropriately. It's like, you're shot, you're not thinking straight, you know this is going to fuck up history, don't do it.
And that leads to the only good joke in the movie. That leads to the only time I giggled a little bit was when she punched him in the face and it cut to black. That was the only little joke that I thought was kind of funny.
But here's the problem too. We don't know the rules of time travel except for what the film has established, which is it's self-contained. So him being there wouldn't have changed anything. It's self-contained.
Yeah.
Well, assuming that he was, it's determinative. Like, does he have to go back in that case? Because as we've seen in an earlier scene, when we find the Tomb of Archimedes, that he has a modern day watch, which is the watch that he gets from the Mads Mikkelsen's Nazi character.
And the propellers are referenced in the cave.
Yeah. Which, by the way, what do they do to the plane? If the plane crashed in water, fine. Like the Nazi plane, but no, it crashed on the beach. So it gives Grecians access to modern technology. There was a bit where Helena said
dragon technology.
There was a bit where Helena was like, by the way, I told Archimedes to get rid of the plane, like just throw it in the water or something like that. But they don't cover that, so they have planes, I guess.
But why was the plane flying that low? It's a plane.
Yeah.
Why were they flying that low to begin with to get hit?
I mean,
they're like 30 feet off the ground. I'm like, why the fuck are you that low?
It's awesome that Short Round number 2 figured out how to fly the plane too. That's pretty awesome.
I mean, they at least set it up, but that
Yeah.
I mean, I had a problem with Snakes on a Plane with somebody being like, "Oh, I know how to fly a plane. I played Microsoft Flight Simulator."
Well, I have a problem with you watching Snakes on a Plane.
This
I have
was
a
15
problem with
years
that poor
ago.
pilot who woke up being hijacked and suddenly ended up back in.
I really didn't like how the movie was setting it up. I thought it was going to be setting up that pilot to be Archimedes. Like, he gets left in the past. It has to be Archimedes now, or something. I couldn't tell what the payoff of the movie was going to be at this point.
80s made consumer says it felt off and rushed, and that scene felt very small compared to the beach scene in Jaws. The beach scene feels way bigger.
Yeah, because that was on a beach and not on a set. So
A green screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And that goes back to the
Studio
thing
in Atlanta.
that made me the most annoying and most annoyed about Crystal Skull is that entire movie feels like it's in a room.
Yeah. But,
Yeah, it's got that prequel CGI.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so any other thoughts about the time travel, being back in time thing? We can move to the end.
It's not fully developed.
Yeah. That's
It's
the
not
whole
ready
movie.
for the prime time. It still needs to go back in the oven.
Agree.
The whole movie is that.
The whole movie is underbaked.
So after the punch, then we punch ahead forward in time, apparently a little bit because he's still wounded. I guess somehow he's not guilty of murder anymore. We don't really.
Okay,
know.
let's cover the basis. So they get him back in time. If they go through the rift, assuming the rift spits you out where you were at when you went through the rift. So
Because there was no
you were-
continental drift in history, so no
I
problem.
guess. But if they go back to where they entered it in, they were in Sicily, I think, when they left or something. So okay, Sicily, left from Sicily. He comes out of the drift there, unconscious, still with a bullet wound. They get him back to New York, which is at this point in time at least a multi-day trip.
Oh god.
Yeah.
And they get him bandaged, get him back into his apartment. Apparently, I guess, wipe away everything with the cops about Indy being a murderer and stuff, because they're able to get into his apartment for one, and we know that cops were at his apartment because Sala made a point about how he was able to get in before the cops were to get stuff. So they take care of all that stuff and get the payoff character at the end. They get Marion back
and they're in love
and all that stuff.
He wears the fedora while they fuck.
And he's-
This is where this is
That's exactly what happens, by the way.
this is where we needed
other way to read that scene.
this is where we needed one more scene of the CIA to come in and clean it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they could have done it with one scene, it could have been a little wink and a nod at Indiana Jones. We took care of it, blah, blah, because they knew what was going on. But we didn't get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all you has a records with Indiana Jones. Like, a very highly decorated soldier during World War II, which Crystal Skull goes out of its way to make sure this is a known thing. And, like, the CIA, FBI, everybody should know. It's like, oh, this guy is a notable figure. It's like, oh, God.
So how do we feel about the reuniting scene? How do we feel about that?
Yeah,
I'm fine with it.
with everything that's happened in the movie and the shitstorm that it was, like, this one is the least shitty of the shitstorm.
I really thought it was going to try to
Bring Mutt back alive.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like Helena, while Indy was healing and unconscious, figured out how to go back in time and save Mutt, or something like that.
But that also leads me to believe that only leads to Archimedes' time.
Yeah, no, and I think that's fair. I think you're probably right on that. It's okay.
I agree.
But yeah, it's like I'm fine with Marion coming back. But it's doing stuff that I felt like we've already taken care of in the last movie. You know, like the last movie in Crystal Skull, Indy has a new love interest every movie up until like Marion's the first one. We get Wheelie, and then we get the Nazi chick in Last Crusade.
Yeah.
But then Crystal Skull comes out and it's basically definitively going, Marion is the love interest. Marion is the true love and all be all.
The OTP.
And in this one, it's got to redo that basically. It's like Marion's the one. It's like this is ground that we've already covered and we didn't need to go back into.
I made this point earlier.
Yeah, Zach was complaining that this is the same basic ending that we had from Crystal Skull.
Well, there's more sex in this one.
Yeah, and I do agree with that, but I also kind of feel like it's it's closed more. The door is much more aggressively closed with this ending.
I don't know. Walking off married seems pretty closed.
I know, but like we didn't there was room for another adventure or something, but not now.
Yeah.
This is over. He is an old man. He's shot again. He's lost a lot, and this is it. You know.
I don't know. They had that cartoon like Looney Tunes circle in black as he grabs his hat. I guess the hat stays on during sex.
That's also kind of a weird thing. If I think about the endings of the other movies, like I love, well, all the other movies except for Raiders. Raiders has that kind of weird, almost cynical downer ending of the U.S. government puts the Ark in a warehouse, and that's the ending of that one. But Temple of Doom has a very uplifting, like wide crowd shot of all the kids back in the village. Last Crusade as riding off into the sunset, which is why it probably should be the last movie. Crystal Skull has that nice like going out the church wedding shot, and I think that ending shot works really well. You have that.
There's a hat thing there too. Doesn't he drop it or leave it?
It blows. The wind blows off the rack or something, and then
Mutt's about to pick it up and put it on, but Andy takes it from him.
In the scariest scene of 2008.
He's not done being Indiana Jones. This one kind of still does it. He takes the hat, so he's not done being Indiana Jones while he's fucking.
I mean, that's the only thing I can. The hat stays on during sex.
It's definitely a more a quieter, more personal resolution compared to the others. But I had a line.
Well, while you're thinking, one thing I will say is I enjoyed John Wick's horse CGI more than this CGI.
But yeah,
I didn't
disagree.
Actually.
Disagree.
I didn't.
One thing I would say though is that I think it's not earned as much for Indy this ending. Like he goes through a shit ton, a lot. I get that, but the bit how when he is honest and he talks about how the Mutt dies, Marion is inconsolable and her grief is just unfathomable, and Andy's like, I didn't know what to do. Like I couldn't help her. And
how has that changed?
Yeah, it's like he doesn't grow in that he's learned to help her. If it had ended with Indy going back to Marion, not the other way around, I think it would have worked better. And the weird think back at the ending of Rambo, not Last Blood, but like the real last Rambo.
Last movie, yeah.
But when he's going home and he's walking to his house, and that's like the ending shot. It just pans out with him walking to his house. If it ended with Indy walking to Marion's home, like their own old home or something, to indicate that Indy is the one making the stride to go to Marion, because it seems like Indy is the one that's left, not Marion. Indy is the one because he's not in his house. He's not in his school. Andy is the one who is no longer at where he used to be.
I guess that could have been a neater ending if we come back and we just see him going to see her. Maybe that would have been better.
But
I'm
fine. If they could have ended fucking at him taking the house, that would have been fine. But yeah, it's just his ending, as much as he goes, doesn't feel as earned because it happens to him. It didn't happen because of him. He's not the one who approached Mary.
All right. Let's see. Is there another comment from 80s? He said that also was weird to have. What is it? The
time travel
element. Nothing was fixed, changed yet.
I think it goes to Tina's point about it was all meant to save Archimedes, not to alter anything in their timeline. It was meant to specifically cause their timeline to happen. That's why all of Archimedes' stuff has the birds with propellers. Why he's got Mogul's watch. It's like all of the payoff was to make sure the timeline happened as is. which
Yeah.
the movie tries to telegraph. But as we've gone over multiple
Not
times,
well.
it's not doing its job well. Which, as much as this film was in development and how much of this movie cost, it's ridiculous that how much of the problems of this movie are just at the script level.
Yeah.
This needed, Nico, I think you said it at the beginning. This needed Steven Spielberg.
Yes.
It just did. It did. And he's not like, perfect when it comes to these movies, that's for sure. But I think he would have actually...
Is the boat scene with the eels.
Yeah, it was,
The what?
You know, and here's the other thing too. When you talked about the eels, I love that you brought that up.
Eels.
And it was like, hey, Steve, I thought that worked well. And Steven brought up the bug scene. And it's like, I felt like the bug scene was set up to be Helena's fear thing. It was meant to be her fix, but it wasn't, because Indy was also kind of like, get it off of me. And that was really...
A big spider hanging from...
Yeah. I mean, Last Crusade did it. Last Crusade built up, Sean Connery and his dad, and being afraid of rats like Indy's afraid of snakes. So it's like, I thought that was what... I think that was what they were trying to go for, but failed. This movie tries to go for so much and just falls flat on
It really does. It really does. And
that is the great value of Indiana Jones movies.
It's trying to be an indie movie instead of just being an indie movie.
All right, we need to wrap this thing up. Yeah. Let's go around. We'll start with Tina, and we'll do our number score for this movie.
Out of 5, I give it a 2.
Nico?
I had it at 2.5 stars, but yeah, I'm going down to 2. I do think I like Crystal Skull more than this movie now.
See, because of you, I'm going to have to freaking watch Crystal Skull again. Zach, what's your score?
Yeah. I go, if we're doing a 5, a 2, or a 4 out of 10. I don't think this is... God, I keep going... Okay, so it just depends on my mood, which is worse, Crystal Skull or this. I think
that's fair.
I will stick with this one only because... And I'm going to revisit Crystal Skull to make sure, but I just feel like Harrison Ford is better in this movie, and I think that's why. That's the only reason.
Why it has the stars it has.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Crystal Skull has the fun action scene where they're like on the motorcycles and going between cars.
All right, I'm going to watch it again.
You see what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, I need to watch it again, but I'm going to stick at 2. That's what I put it at right after the movie, and I'm still right there at 2. 2 out of 5. It's
frustratingly broken.
Yeah.
It's not like offensive. It's just... It's like you get a dish and it's a soup where the soup broke.
All right. Problem. I don't think they're foundational problems. Like,
if we could take the Harrison Ford from this movie and take it.
There are some things that I think could easily fix Crystal Skull. Like, take out some of the bad CGI, just completely cut scenes, rework the ending. I think it's a completely functional movie. But like this one has foundational cracks based on just how...
You're not wrong.
Yeah. You're not wrong at all. I agree. I like what 80s movie says on here. It makes sense what we're saying, but the average moviegoer will not do mental gymnastics to figure it out.
Yeah, until they have that... What was it? Alfred Hitchcock talked about.
It was really funny because walking out, I heard people going, "That was such a great movie. That's probably one of the best indie movies." And I'm like, I want to slap.
I will say this though. I think this movie will have legs in the box office. I think it's going to stick around for a decent bit because I think old people are going to go see this movie a lot.
Well, and the one thing I wanted to comment on earlier, and just got by me, is a lot of people are saying, "Why are all the blockbusters doing so poorly this year?" And Zach and I have another friend. We had a conversation. He was like, "It's because they don't do them anymore. They're not good anymore." I'm like, "No, it's because for some reason this year, the theaters are getting stacked. Like if you look at what's in the theater right now, it's nothing but big blockbusters, and of course that's going to destroy the box office for each of those films, and that's what's happening."
I would like to say it's because they're all bad, but Dungeons and Dragons didn't do well, and that is actually a fun movie. But
Dungeons and Dragons is not an A-list blockbuster, though.
True, but it was not a cheap movie to make, and it has a lot of special effects in it. It does have big names in it. It
has good names in it, but I don't even think Chris Pine is an A-lister in a lot of ways. He's a great actor and I love him, but I don't think he's not like a Tom Cruise level or a Harrison Ford level. you know. But
No one
but
needs
you've got Guardians, you've got
Literally no one
you
is
know,
those two level of actors except those two level of actors.
True.
Also, Dungeons Dragons was released March?
I don't remember.
But it's also just like I think it's like the start of the year in terms of getting big budget movies, like action genre movies, and a lot of them just haven't been doing well outside of pretty much Guardians. And Mario was an out of the nowhere hit. Like,
And also, Mario came out at a good time too.
Yeah.
Because Ant-Man sucked. Had Ant-Man been really good, Mario would have taken a beating. But Ant-Man
was
sucked.
terrible. I mean, of course, we talked about how bad Flash is a couple episodes ago. It's just a lot of it is quality though, in just being tired of stuff.
And hell, this month, like back-to-back weekends, you got
Back the same weekend. You had Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Also, to the point of Dungeons and Dragons did well. It made $93 million.
No, he's saying it didn't do well.
Oh, okay. I thought you said it did. I was like,
No. All right, so let's move on real quick. I just wanted. There's not much physical media this week. Just Truman Show in 4K, Jaws 2 in a 4K Steelbook, and Upgrade in 4K. And if you don't know that movie, you should, because Upgrade is awesome.
I should probably watch that movie.
It's really good. So let's wrap it up. I got a steak waiting on me, baby. Tina, where do we find you on the internet?
You can find me on all your social medias under Cheddar Popper. That is CHEDRPOPPR.
Nico?
You can find all of my stuff at nicholasqualls.com. That includes links to my Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. And you can see my ratings on Indie and a bunch of the other movies we've been seeing this year. Just check out nicholasqualls.com.
80s Made Consumer gets points in my book because he just referenced Hell Comes to Frogtown.
I was about to say, it's like, hell yeah, Hell Comes to Frogtown. I will always respect that movie for just taking the chance.
That's right. All right, Zach, where do we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram. I'm Master of the Matrix 91. I'm just curious to check out Threads, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
You can find me on Discord as well as Steam as a Dangerous Mute Lunatic. And, of course, you can always find me on Letterboxd, where I'm probably more updating there, as Master Z91.
All right. So you can find me at OTS Movies on TikTok. I'm posting there daily. Of course, right here. And then on Letterboxd, OTS Movies, where I actually come with receipts for my star ratings, sir. Actually
It's
write
okay.
stuff.
I log the shit I watch.
Me and Nico do the writing. You guys just do the starring.
Eat shit.
All right. I guess that'll do it. We'll see you all next week.
Bye, everybody.